What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video here for the 12 days of Wolfmas. This is day number 8. We're up $2,800. That's all going to you guys. All you gotta do is leave a comment down below why you deserve that money, and you gotta subscribe and like the video. That's pretty much it. We're here in Dallas at a private game, undisclosed location, but it's gonna be fun. I'm into the 125 for $1,000. Drop a like for some run good. Now let's get in the hands. Let's go. We're at an underground Dallas poker game in the hopes of pushing over the $3,000 profit mark. Being underground has its perks, the alcohol is flowing, and the waitresses match you shot for shot. We hop into the 125 game for $1,000. First hand of the night, I look down at ace-6 offsuit from the big blind. The $10 button straddles on, the cutoff small blind, and myself all put in the call. And that means we are going extremely multi-way to a flop, which comes monotone diamonds, giving me the nut flush draw. The action gets checked around on the flop, and that brings in the turn card, which comes the 5 of clubs, pairing the board, and the player on my right in the small blind decides to bet out for $20. I could be going for a raise with my ace-high flush draw, but in case he has a 5 in his hand, I decide just to put in the call, and we're going heads up to the river, which brings 3 5s out there. It comes the 5 of spades, and he now decides to slow down and check. I don't really think he's too strong in this spot. He checked the flop, bet the turn, and now checked the river. Would he ever do this with a jack? I mean, it's highly unlikely. And also, how many strong jacks is he going to have in his range when he just calls pre-flop instead of raising? So for that reason, I'm trying to get him to fold a hand like pocket 4s, pocket 6s, pocket 8s. So I decided to bet out for $65 into the $80 pot. We don't get snap called, but we get called rather fast. That's no good for us. We turn over our ace high, and he ends up turning over queen jack. So yeah, he's going to scoop that pot. Definitely did not put him on a full house with a jack there, but that's how poker goes sometimes. Still pretty excited about the way I played that hand. And we're moving on to the next one. We look down at ace-10 offsuit from the hijack. I decide to raise it up to $20, and the small blind puts in the call. We see a flop which comes ace-7-6 all diamonds. He checks it over to me, and I have a decision between betting and checking. I obviously made top pair. I have the 10 of diamonds in my back pocket in case I need to make a better flush than him. But I'm going to be doing a lot of checking here when I have hands like pocket 10s with no diamond, or maybe a hand like king queen, king jack suited with no diamonds. So yeah, I also need to throw some aces into that range when I check behind. Need to have some value so I don't get blown off my hand on the turn or the river. I check behind, bringing in another red card, the 9 of hearts, and the small blind now decides to lead out into me for $20. Could be going for a raise now and springing the trap, but instead, I just put in the $20, and that brings in a third ace, the ace of clubs on the river, giving me 3 of a kind. Small blind does not slow down, he continues for $30, and now I have a decision between calling or raising. The diamond draw has bricked off, and how many better aces are going to be in his range when he just calls from the small blind instead of 3-betting? Don't really think he's going to have ace-jack, ace-queen, ace-king. Sure, he could have pocket 7s, pocket 6s, or pocket 9s, but at the end of the day, I have 3 of a kind, so I got to get a little bit more value and let him tell me that he has a better hand. When I raise it up to $80, he does in fact put in the call. That should be good news for us until I turn over my cards and he turns over ace-queen offsuit. So yeah, definitely did not expect him to have that type of hand. Not 3-betting me pre-flop, pretty much took that out of his range, at least that's what I thought. But he played it interestingly, and that's going to win him that $242 pot. Moving right along, I look down from the low jack at queen jack of diamonds. Eli from under the gun limps it for $5, and I raise it up to $20 with a premium like queen jack suited. My editor Lucas in the hijack, he decides to put in the call, and that brings in Eli as well. We're going 3 ways in between 2 players to a flop, which comes ace high, but it gives me a pair of queens. When Eli checks it over to me, because I'm in between him and Lucas, I decide to start with a check. And Lucas edits my videos, so he knows how I play. He knows I'm going to have some ace-king, ace-queen, pocket queens in this spot. So he decides to check it behind, which is a smart move from him. And we're off to the turn, which pairs the board. It comes the 8 of spades, giving me 2 pair. When Eli checks it over to me for a second time, it's unlikely he has too strong of a hand. Lucas checked behind, though, on the flop, so I could be a little bit worried about him. But at the same time, there's a lot of draws to get value from and protect my hand against. For instance, if someone had a hand like king jack, king 10, 10 jack, 10-9. There's a lot of gutters to a straight, so I want to protect my hand, especially against those front door club flush draws. Eli checks it over to me and I decide to bet out for a quarter. Lucky for us, Lucas behind us in position, he decides to fold. So I'll be in position the rest of the way when Eli puts in the call, bringing us to the 7 of diamonds on the river. When Eli checks it over to me for a third time, could go for thin value here against a hand like pocket 10s or pocket 9s, which honestly I probably should have, but in the moment I decided to check behind with my showdown value, and Eli turns over jack 10, so he had a gutter to the straight. No, actually he had an open-ended straight draw, any king or any 9, and we're going to scoop that $100 pot, but I think I was saying his name wrong. I don't think he goes by Eli, he goes by something else.
I just beat Justin Fields! Justin Fields!
I had to see one more.
Touchdown!
Oh my God.
Next hand, ace king offsuit from the hijack. The $10 button straddles on, so I'm going to raise it up to $40. Lucas in the cutoff puts in the call, and that leads us heads up to a flop, which gives me top pair, top kicker, as Jamie Gold would say, top top. When the action's on me, I actually decide to check. I'm going to be doing a lot of checking from out of position, and especially against Lucas when he has position on me, I decide to check it over to him, and he checks behind, and that brings in the 4 of clubs on the turn. Definitely not going to be doing any checking here when he checks it behind, so I decided to bet out for $50, just a small price, trying to get value from worse kings, maybe some queens, maybe some flush draws, and it looks like we're going to get a little bit more value when Lucas decides he wants to play for $100. When the action's back over to me, I take a look at Lucas's stack. He has around 220 total, including the $100 raise he put in, so only $120 more left in his stack. And I decide I'm going to go with it here. I have the ace of clubs blocker, so it does in fact block a few of his bluffs, but at the same time, I have the best king possible, so I decide to rip my entire stack in for $220 effective. Lucas goes into the tank before smiling and folding his cards. That means I'm going to win that pot, $243 coming my way. It's possible he had a bluff like jack 10, or maybe like the queen or jack high club draw. Either way, we're going to win that pot, and no complaints from me.
He'll see it later. He'll see it later.
Hey.
Okay, we're in under the gun. We look down at pocket 5s. I'm going to raise them up. They say 1 out of every 8 times you have a pocket pair, you're going to hit a set. I'm hoping this is no different here. When I raise it up to $20, we get 2 calls. That means we are going 3 ways to a flop, which comes jack 5-3. Bang, we flop middle set. Looks like the poker gods and the math and the odds are on my side. Middle set on a jack high flop is pretty good. We're hoping somebody hits some of this, maybe a flush draw, maybe a hand like 4-6 for a straight draw, or maybe a hand like ace jack or king jack. We don't really have any of those hands blocked, so I decide to bet out for $30. Now hopefully someone has something here, a piece of this board, but it turns out they didn't. They both fold, so yeah. Little double-edged sword there. We make a great hand with pocket 5s, only to get absolutely no more value. Alright, pocket 5s worked out sort of well for us there. We're going to look down at king jack suited from middle position and hope they do the same for us. I raise it up to $20. The big blind puts in the call, so we're going to go heads up in position to a flop, which comes 6-6-4 rainbow. He checks it over to me, and I decide to go for a standard 1/3 pot size bet of $15. To which he doesn't wave the white flag. He puts in the call. Alright, so we're going to do some battling on the turn. It comes the 5 of spades and he checks it over to me for a second time. I don't give up that easily, especially when I'm gambling with your guys' money. Yes, any of the profits from this session and the prior 8 are going straight to you guys. So yeah, drop a subscribe if you want to be eligible. And I bet out for $40 and he folds. So yep, we are taking down that $71 pot and it feels pretty good. A few more hands to go. I look down from the button at 7-8 of hearts. Few limps to me, so I raise it up to $20. I want you guys to have a happy holidays, so I want to play some big pots and win some big money. Lucas in the small blind and a middle position limper decide to both put in the call. That means we are going 3 ways to a flop, which gives me middle pair. It comes queen 7-6 with 2 diamonds. Lucas decides to have a leading range on this board and bets out for $15. The middle position puts in a call. So let's think about what I would do here with my entire range, especially the hands like ace queen, king queen, queen jack. I think maybe a raise might be in order, but when Lucas donks into me, a little bit sketch, so I decide just to call here with my pair of sevens. Maybe I could back into a 5 or a 9 on the turn and give me an open-ended straight draw. So yeah, I just put in the call, and that brings in an interesting card, the Ace of Hearts, which should hit my range a lot harder than any of the other two opponents. But don't tell Lucas that. He decides to continue betting for $30, basically at this point saying he has a hand like pocket sevens, pocket sixes, or maybe a random hand like 7-6. He's not scared of that ace, and middle position isn't either. He puts in the call. With around $170 in the middle with both of their $30 included, I'm getting a pretty great price to call for a 7 or an 8. And that's what I decided to do. I put in the $30 and we are off to the river. The river now gives me that open-ended straight draw, comes a 5 of clubs. Really shouldn't change anything, and it didn't change anything for Lucas when he bets out for $100. When middle position puts in the call, all my hopes of going for a hero call here against Lucas go out the window. Middle position for sure has me beat, if not Lucas as well. So I decide to muck my cards, but just for curiosity, let's see what they have. Lucas ends up turning over Queen 6, so we did have the 2 pair, but it was a very suspect kind of 2 pair. I don't know why you're playing that, Lucas, but nice hand. You're winning that $407 profit. And yeah, if I'm not going to play those types of hand, at least I can say that my editor is a splashy player. Alright, a few more to go. I look down at the Cowboys in Texas. It's only fitting. I'm in the big blind and the $10 button straddles on. 4 callers, and I decide to raise it up to $65, and the player in middle position puts in the call. Now the action doesn't stop there. It's Texas. You know something crazy has to go on in this vlog, and that's what we get here when the cutoff goes all in for $90. When the action's back over to me, I know this does not open up the action. I can't go for another raise up to like 180 or 200 bucks. So instead, I'm forced just to put in the call. I'm handcuffed here, and the middle position decides to call as well. That means we are going 3 ways to a flop with one player already all in. And of course, when you have pocket kings, what do you expect on the flop other than an ace? It comes ace 4 deuce rainbow. Not really the best flop. I'm out of position against the middle position player, and I start with a check, and he decides to check behind, bringing in the deuce of hearts. Another check from me. I don't really think there's any point in betting here. He's only going to call me with better hands. And I decide to check it over to him, and he checks behind, bringing in the queen of clubs on the river. Now my logic of going for 3 streets of checking goes out the window when the queen of clubs peels off. The reasoning is here, when he checks both streets, it's unlikely he does in fact have an ace in his range. So if he has ace queen, king queen, jacks, 10s, or 9s, I want to get a little bit of value here and build a side pot. So I decide to bet out for $75. Unfortunately, the player folds, and our luck gets a little bit worse when the player that's all in shows ace jack. So yeah, he's going to take that down with ace jack offsuit, and I'm winning absolutely nothing in the hand. $311 going his way. Alright, pocket fives worked out pretty well for us earlier on in the session. I'm in the small blind this time, and the cutoff raises it up to $20. Could be going for a 3-bet. That seems a little bit loose, so I just decided to put in the call. And the player in the big blind, who goes by Lucas, my buddy, he raises it up to $75. He has a hand that he wants to battle with. And surprisingly, we both put in the call. Yes, I'm not going to fold my pocket fives against anyone here in this spot, let alone my editor Lucas. I want to get him here, want to build the pot. That's what I decided to do, and it's a good thing that I did, because we're off to a flop, which comes king 5 deuce. Bang! We flop middle set again. What is our luck with pocket fives? It's a dream spot for us. And surprisingly, the action checks around. Yes, I checked it over to Lucas. He checked it over to the cutoff, and he checked behind. He's a little scared that Lucas was slow playing a hand like ace king or pocket kings. That means we're off to a turn, which is not a great card. It comes a 3 of clubs, bringing in the front door club draw. I could be betting out here, but I don't really want to see a raise. It would be pretty gross if I saw one, so I decided to check and call some bluffs, and call all the value in the ranges of Lucas and the cutoff. Unfortunately though, Lucas decides to check it over to the cutoff once again, and now I'm fearing that the cutoff is going to check behind, giving another free card. But our inner thoughts, our prayers are answered when the cutoff bets out for $100 into the $325 pot. When the action's back over to me, I was just thinking about putting in a call before he bet, but I was a little bit scared that he was going to check behind, and now I'm thinking about if I just put in a call here for $100, and the river card comes another club. Let's say he has ace queen with the ace of clubs. We just don't want him to get there. And additionally, if I call and then I check the river, he could just check it behind. So I actually decided to go for the check raise, and I spice it up here and bet out for $250. Of course, Lucas is getting out of the way, but the cutoff has a decision here. Obviously, he bet out for 100, but it appears that it was a sort of a semi-bluff or a weak type of hand. After checking his cards one more time, he lets them go and tosses them into the muck. And we're going to take down that $325 pot to end the night. And I think that took us into Profitville. Flop comes King 5 deuce, bang! With that last hand in the books, we rack up our chips and head over to the cage, exchanging our chips for some cold, hard cash. Alright, you guys, we got into that game for 1,000, out for 1,077. That's a profit of $77, and whatever this is, a little gift from them to me. If you guys want a share of that profit, it takes us nearly up to $3,000, and I'm giving it all away to you guys. All you gotta do is like this video, leave a comment down below why I should give it to you, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's the third requirement. Other than that, I have a $50 training course that's gonna make you better. I'm obviously showing you guys I'm crushing the low stakes. I'm 8 for 8 now in this 12 days of Wolfmas challenge. It's all because of my poker coach Alvin, and him and I made a $50 training course. The link is down below. That's the pre-order price up until Christmas. On Christmas, it goes to $69. Yes, I came up with that price, but definitely great value. It should honestly be like $300 to $500. So yeah, click that link in my bio and go check that out. And as always, good luck on the felt, you guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.